Hello dear students. In previous lecture we have discussed about the dry cell, and now today we discuss about mercury cell. This mercury cell is also known as button cell, which is used in very small electronic instruments. In this mercury cell, the paste of mercury chloride plus carbon is act as cathode, and the amalgam of zinc and mercury is act as cathode, and the medium is provided by KOH plus ZnO. KOH means potassium hydroxide and another is zinc oxide. This electrolyte is in a paste format. These three chemicals are separated by the porous membrane, which is called semi-permeable membrane, and this electrolyte is sealed with the gasket. The anodic reaction, zinc and mercury amalgam plus 2OH gives ZnO plus H2O plus 2 electron, and on cathode side mercuric oxide plus H2O plus 2 electron gives mercuric metal plus 2OH minus. 2OH minus and 2 electrons are cancelled out on both the sides, and the overall reaction becomes zinc and Hg amalgam plus mercuric oxide gives ZnO plus Hg metal. The output voltage of this cell is 1.35 voltage. In dry cell, this voltage is 1.5 volt. This theory is normally asked in 2 marks in board exam. Now the another most important theory with 3 mark, which is lead storage cell. This is most important theory. So on anodic side there is a strip of lead. This lead is also known as plumbic, and on cathode side this metal strip which is used of lead oxide PbO2. This lead oxide strip is perforated. Perforated means there are small pores on the metal strip. This lead is act as anode, and this PbO2 it act as cathode. The anodic reaction Pb plus SO4 minus 2. This SO4 minus 2 is comes from the electrolyte, this H plus solution. Now this H plus solution is, you can use HCl hydrochloric acid or you can use H2SO4, but 38% H2SO4 is a very proper solution for this lead storage cell, because you can get 2H plus ion from the same quantity of H plus solution. So this is the benefit of dual acidic nature of H2SO4. In the starting of chemical reaction, the density of H2SO4 solution is 1.25 to 1.30 gram per ml, and after usage of this chemical reaction, the density of H2SO4 will decrease to 1.10 to 1.15 gram per ml. This lead storage cell is in secondary battery section. Secondary battery means this cell can be rechargeable by another higher voltage instrument. On cathodic side, lead oxide plus SO4 minus 2 plus 4H plus 2 electrons shows the reduction process PbSO4 plus 2H2A. The overall reaction of lead storage cell is Pb plus PbO2 plus 2H2SO4 gives 2 PbSO4 plus 2H2O. This lead storage cell, the output voltage of this cell is 2 voltage. In our bikes, cars, major trucks or buses, we can use this lead storage cell as a battery equipment. In car, there is a need of 12 voltage. So the one lead storage cell gives 2 voltage. So you have to connected 6 cell in a series for total output of a 12 voltage. In bus or trucks, you have 24 voltage. It means this type of lead storage cells are in a series 12 times. So total output of 24 voltage you can gain from this lead storage cell. Suppose this cell is discharged now. You have to recharge this cell by the higher voltage battery capacity, and you have to reverse these two reactions. Reverse these two reactions means this anodic reaction is reversible on cathode side, and this cathodic reaction is reversible on anode side. So you can recharge this cell by any battery oscillator. So this is the basic information of lead storage cell. Now, this lead storage cell, in this case you see another cell, this nickel cadmium cell. Nickel and cadmium, both metals are very costly or very expensive in manufacturing. So this nickel cadmium cell is very less used in this normal scenario, but this lead storage cell is widely used in all vehicles. The third cell is known as fuel cell. Fuel cell means we know the thermal power stations, which are the main source of pollution and main source of noise pollution, and the output of thermal power station is very less, near to 40% only. But in fuel cells you can gain the 70% of outcome, because these fuel cells are very silent. These fuel cells are eco-friendly, they never spread the pollutions. So this fuel cell is also used in our space program, and this fuel cell is used in the Apollo space program, which is handled by the Sunita Williams. In this cell, this chamber is totally blocked from all sides. On left hand side you are passing hydrogen gas, on right hand side you are passing oxygen gas, and these two membranes or partitions, which is used platinum and palladium metal crust material, used as a catalytic reagent. When this hydrogen and oxygen passing through the semi-permeable membrane and mixed in the aqueous solution of NaOH, this NaOH is providing the medium for both gases mixture. When hydrogen and oxygen is chemically reacted in NaOH solution, then the output of H2O from the upper side, and this H2O is used for drinking in a space shuttle. In this fuel cell, the chemical reaction is occur in this manner. On cathodic pole, H2 plus 2 H2O plus 4 electron gives 4 OH minus. The basic ions are liberated in solution, and on anodic side 2 H2 plus 4 OH minus gives 4 H2O plus 4 electron, and the overall reaction is 2 H2 plus O2 gives 2 H2O. From 1 mole of H2O is generating 471.70 kilojoule per mole. This energy is exothermic reactions, because hydrogen and oxygen are mixed with each other, and the energy is released by the water molecule, and those energy is required for the motion of or mobility of a space shuttle. This is used in Apollo program, which is handled by Sunita Williams. The benefit of fuel cell is 70% of result you can get, whereas in thermal production the 40% of outcome will be used. These fuel cells are very useful in this time. Now our chapter's last theory, which is corrosion. In corrosion, the metal surface is covered by the oxide layer, and those oxide layers are resulting into the formation of rust. This corrosion is very dangerous for the metal surfaces, and this is occurs in damages to buildings, bridges, ships, etc. many more things. In this corrosion process, this Fe is oxidized into Fe2 plus, and these two electrons are liberated on anodic side. These two electrons are moving towards the cathode spot from these metal surfaces and reduce the H plus ion. Those H plus ion which is gained by the dissociation of H2CO3. H2CO3 means hydrogen carbonate. H2O plus carbon dioxide will form the H2CO3. The first anodic reaction is 2Fe gives 2Fe2 plus 4 electron. These electrons are traveled through the metal surface and goes to the cathode spot, and this cathodic reaction is O2 plus 4H plus 4 electron gives 2H2O. Now we have this Fe2 plus ion. This Fe2 plus ion is further oxidized by the atmospheric oxygen, and the atmospheric oxygen will help to form the complex which is hydrated ferric oxide. Means this Fe2 plus is converted into Fe3 plus. This Fe2 plus is converted into Fe3 plus, and this Fe3 plus is mixed with the atmospheric oxygen and forming the complex which is known as hydrated ferric oxide, and this hydrated ferric oxide is known as Fe2O3 into XH2O. This is the molecular formula for rust. This is the very dangerous thing which is occurs damages to building, bridge and ships. What are the idea to prevent the corrosion? You can cover the surface by any paint, wax or metals like zinc, magnesium, copper. When you apply the paint on metal surfaces, this will disconnect the contact of oxide hydrogen carbonate from the metal surfaces. The one example of paint is bisphenol. This wax is also applicable on metal surfaces. How we can apply metal on another metal? That process is known as electroplating. This zinc metal is electroplated on another metal surfaces. So the contact of atmosphere to metal ion will disconnect. So your metal is protected from the rust. This zinc and magnesium, both metals are sacrificial electrodes. Sacrificial electrode means these metals are in contact with directly to the water. Suppose one ship is parked into the sea. These zinc metals are covered these ships outer surface. So the water is directly contact with zinc metal. So this zinc and magnesium are known as inhibitors, or you can say sacrificial electrode. This is the ideas of prevention of corrosion. This is our last theory of this chapter. On next video, we will discuss about the examples of unit number 3, which is given in the exercise portion. Okay, thank you.